In this video lesson, the subject to be talked about are to be able to make an Android project, to be able to arrange or set up Android device manager for the emulator, to be able to download and introduce the components of Android SDK, and to be able to debug the Android program. If you have followed the guide for installing Visual Studio 2019 with Xamarin, it is unlikely that you will encounter any issues. If you have already installed Visual Studio, you must have a Microsoft account. If you don't have an account, you can create one by visiting the website. When installed, Visual Studio Community Edition has a 30-day trial period. When you launch Visual Studio, you must sign in to Microsoft to remove the trial. When you open Visual Studio, you will notice the Create New Project option. If you want to make a project, this is the option to choose. However, in this lesson, we will select Continue without code. This is the environment layout of Visual Studio. On the left side, we have the Server Explorer. Server Explorer allows you to graphically create databases, tables, views, stored procedures completely from within Visual Studio. The toolbox window displays controls that you can add to Visual Studio projects. The output window shows the output of the compiler or build systems as well as the output from debugging sessions. If there are errors, we can see it on Error List. Then the Solution Explorer enables you to explore and manage your solution and projects. To create a project, go to File, New, then Project. Then it will open a Create a New Project window. On the right side, there is a list of potential projects that we can work on. However, our goal is to develop an Android application. We can narrow down the list by selecting Mobile as the project type, Android as the platform, and C# as the programming language. Now it is narrowed down into two options. One is the mobile app Xamarin.Forms and another is the Android app Xamarin. Mobile app Xamarin.Forms is a type of project you create if you want to create a multi-platform or a cross-platform application that is able to run in Android, iOS, or Windows-based mobile phone. But if your focus is to develop only an Android application using the Xamarin, you can select the Android app Xamarin. Then click Next. Give an appropriate name for your application. In our case, we name it Example and save it in your desired location. Then click Create. Select the blank app on the window, and after that, set the minimum Android version. The options that appears in the minimum Android versions depends on the installed versions of your Android SDK. For this demonstration, I'm going to choose Android 5.1, which is the Lollipop version. After that, click OK. Now we have created our project for Android, and it will open automatically the main activity that says File, and we have the default code under it. On the Solution Explorer, we can see all the created files of the project. The main activity that says File, this will be our starting point of our program. Now, the next thing we do is to set up our emulator. To do that, we need to go to Tools, Android, then select Android Device Manager. Another way to access the Android Device Manager is to select from the options from this Debug button. Android Device Manager is used to create and configure Android virtual devices or AVDs that run in Android emulator. Each AVD is an emulator configuration that simulates a physical Android device. The following are the list of the example of the AVDs or Android Virtual Device. Some Android virtual devices may have been installed in your Android Manager device. You will be able to click the Start button on the right side of that AVD if that device were installed in your Android Device Manager. To create the new virtual device, select the New, give an appropriate name, select the base device. For this demonstration, I'm going to choose the phone medium DPI and the size of the screen is 5.1 inches. Now select the processor architecture. You can select it's either 32-bit or the 64-bit, and we have also other two options under it. Then for the OS, select the versions of the Android you like to simulate. So our project is to create an Android applications that will run in the Android 5.1. So in this case, I'm going to select the Android 5.1 Lollipop version of Android. Then click Create and accept the agreement to download the file. After downloading, we will be able to launch the emulator by clicking the Start button. But we will not do this now because we want our emulator to be open or to be launched at the time we debug our program. Now that we have set up our emulator or the Android virtual device in the Android Virtual Manager, the Android virtual device we have downloaded and installed into our Android Device Manager must appear in this window. You have to make sure that the Android virtual device you have downloaded is selected in this window. Now, the next we need to set up is the Android SDK. To do that, you need to go to Tools in Android, then select Android SDK Manager. The Android SDK or Software Development Kit is a set of development tools that are used to develop applications for Android platforms. In the Android SDK Manager, you can see some of the installed Android versions, and some of the versions are not installed. The installed versions are marked with a dot symbol on the checkbox. Since we want to develop a project that will run on the Android device, which is the version of the Android is the 5.1 Lollipop version, we have to make sure that the Lollipop version or the Android 5.1 version is installed into your Android SDK. If the Android 5.1 Lollipop is not installed, you need to install that into your Android SDK. Sometimes we need to update our SDKs, and the updates will appear in the lower left corner of this Android SDK Manager. Since I have already installed the Android I want for my program to run, then I have to close this window. If you want to know the location of your installed Android SDKs, you need to go to Tools, Options, Xamarin, then select Advanced Settings. Here you can see the directory of your Android SDK and also the directory of your Java Development Kit. Once everything is configured properly, now we can try to debug and try to see if we are able to launch the emulator. To debug, click this debug button and make sure the right AVD or Android virtual device is selected for your project. The project is now being compiled and debugged, and to monitor the progress of your debug, you can see that in your output window. At the same time, the Android emulator will be launched and your project will be installed in that emulator, and we will be able to see the output of our program. The emulator will work as the same as our physical Android devices. We have this power button, the volume up, the volume down, the orientation of our screen of the mobile phone, the camera, the search, the back, the home, and the launch. Make sure the Android emulator is powered on. If not, press the power button. If our program is compiled successfully without any error, we can see the output of our program in the emulator. This is our output of our program based on the default code of our project. Now, we're going to stop debugging and we are going to create our own desired output for our program. To create our desired output of our program, or to create our own program, we need to go into the Solution Explorer, go to the Layout folder, and open the file activity main.xml. The activity main.xml is a layout file available in Layout directory that is referenced by your application when building its interface. You will modify this file very frequently to change the layout of your application. This is the designer view of our activity main.xml, and on the right side is our XML code, and you can drag and drop different controls onto the surface of the designer. The controls in the toolbox are being categorized according to its use. Then, ang code sa kaniyang activity.xml nato, mao ni siya ang default code niya. So, na siya nakaset daan na layout, width, and the layout height. So, ang ato lang diri is-set kani siya diri mga properties under all these components niya ato agi select. The blue layout here sa kaniyang ato activity.xml design view represent that we are editing code sa kanadiha nga part sa ato application. Then, in this part sa ato Visual Studio, the window nato, we can see the properties of this layout. If we select this layout, makita nato diri ang iyang mga properties. Okay, let us see what are the other layouts. So we have the pointer, absolute layout, frame layout, grid layout, linear layout, relative layout, space, table layout, and table row. Absolute layout, so it means kung asa nato ibutang ang component, di harapod na siya ma-plaster ang ato components na to. So this symbol also sa kilid, maapod na siya mo represents kung unsa ang pag-work ang ato mga components inside that layout. Kung mo sa grid layout, so it means mag-line up by grid ang ato ang mga components nga ipang add. So linear layout, so it means maglinya from top to bottom ng ato layouts. Since dili ko gusto nga naay ma-add nga new layout, i-change na lang nina ko ang layout diri into linear layout. So if ang starting tag nato diri is a linear layout, so ang closing tab of course is a linear layout. So makita ninyo ang ato adre XML. So this is just similar sa HTML. So in our properties area, pwede nato ma-change diri ang layout. So ang nakaset diri is match parent. So pwede nato ma-change diri into field parent. So it will change also the part of that code. So sa styling, gusto na ako i-change na ako ang background. So sa diri is mo select ko diri solid color. Then ang background nako diri pwede ta mo pili diri kung sa nga background nato ganahan, but I have a specific background nga ako na ganahan diri, which is the hexadecimal code sa ako color nga D3 D3. Then also sa ato linear layout nato nga attribute or properties, mag-add pud ko diri og orientation nato sa ato application. So gusto nako ang orientation is vertical. So ako is set diri ang orientation into vertical. Let us try again to run our program and see kung na-change pa gyud ang background nato sa ato application. Now we can see that our program na-change ang iya diri background color because we set it in activity main.xml. So let us continue to modify our program. So next na to buhaton is let us try to add a text inside sa kaniyang ato design view. So in our form widgets, diri na to makita ang ato text view. So you can choose also other forms. So we can choose a text large, text medium, text small, but ang ako adre gamiton kay text view. So sa ato code, ang code for the text view or a tag para sa text view ma-generate. To change the attributes, pwede mo type diri or pwede lang mo change diri sa properties. So kung ang ato string diri is kung unsay gusto nato makita is the same as kani siyang naa diri, so this is called a hard-coded string. There's another way to link our string by using the @string resource command. So para pag-link nato sa ato string, dili ta mo gamit og mga hard-coded string. So ato gamiton diri is mo gamit ta og @string. Then the name of that string nga gusto ninyo buhaton. So magbuhat-buhat diri og name, later on ato ani siya create ka na siyang ato gibuhat nga string. So it means dili ni siya maoy gyud makita nato sa ato output. Ato lang siya gi point out ang directory sa kani siyang ato string. So once nga magbuhat ta og URL for the string nga mo point out kung unsay dapat ma-display diri sa ato output, in our solution explorer ang value nga mo replace sa kani siyang URL nato makita nato diri sa values folder and inside sa kani siyang strings.xml. So later, unsa man ganing nga text ang ato gusto ipa-display sa ato output, ato siya editon diri sa kani siyang strings.xml. Ato siya i-point out kani siyang hello nga name. For the style, so ato siya diri is set ang text color into whatever color you like. So sa ato code makita nato diri ang gi-add nato nga new properties nato sa ato text view. Instead sa ato siyang grayish nga color sa ato text, makita nato diri kay ang default nga black. So kay select na diri gusto ninyo red, so red po ang iha color dira nga makita. So you can choose also the shadow and horizontal, the shadow and vertical, then the shadow color kung sa inyo ganahan nga color para sa inyo shadow. So sa text appearance, ako na siya i-type diri by code. So I'm going to set the text appearance. We have an Android text appearance. So ang command nato dira for that appearance is question mark, then Android text appearance large. So it will change the size of our text. Instead sa kato siyang gamay kayo, so muda ko ang ato diri size sa ato text. So the reason for that nga ako ani siya gi-select ang text appearance because in our output, once nga ako ani siya i-select diri ang resources, I cannot find that type of appearance nga gusto nako makita sa ako output. So all started with this an symbol. Since it get changed din nato from the hard-coded text into a URL or mo point out siya kung unsay value sa kani siyang ato string. So ato buhaton ato ta sa Solution Explorer. Then go to the values and under sa values pangitawon nato ang strings. So inside sa kani siyang string nato nga file, i-open na nato, i-change nato ang values sa kana siyang ato string. Then there is ato string, mag-add to diri new code kung unsay string nga gusto nato ma-display. Then ang name nato diri sa kaning ato i-set sa activity main.xml kani siyang after sa @string / the hello will represent the name nga ato i-target. Diri mag-create ta og string, then unsay gusto nato makita. So for example, hello. This is my first. Let's go back into our main.xml. So we have set the value hello here as our name. In our main.xml, so this is supposedly mawala na ni siyang ato error. So to now, wala na siya problema. Aron ma-check. So ato siya iparan. Now, kita ninyo ang output sa ato program. So this is what we have expected sa ato output. application. Then